Visioning is something that we all must work together on. And once we get our vision together, that will be our guide throughout this project for the remainder of this project. So today we'll all have a chance to speak, to talk about why do we want to protect this land? How are we going to protect it? Who are we going to protect it from? What do we want as an end goal? So if you think on that, and you could share your thoughts, your feelings, your comments, what we've seen in the past happen, what is happening today. Is there some reasons there why we want to protect this land? Will there be anything left for the future generation? We have to think of all these things.
God talks about land. Land is given to us by God. And it's a garden that God put man or our ancestors, this beautiful garden we have where we live. And that's what we're talking about. Kishtihan itam. Kishtihan eganwentama. Eguteshikanti tauge hawasuya. Oskat chakawasak. Egutakistihan egiteano. And that's what God tells us, that He gives us this beautiful garden, and we have to take care of it.
These things that we are talking about today and the manner in which we are approaching this is to respect all of what we have been given and to take care of what we're given. And that goes to the objective of what is happening here in this working group. We speak on behalf of our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren that are the inheritors of these gifts, this land, and all that we have.
I was told by elders years ago that all this land here where we were put to live is sacred to every one of us in this area. It's not whose land, it's our land. We were put here by the Creator to look after the land here because it provides for us. What I vision is for the people to come together and work together, for our children to be taught on the land. And that helps with the healing for the teachers also. Land-based healing Kawekanawaynichikatek. So that could be used and could be used for the children also in the school setting. I really enjoy working with people, especially with the elders. They teach us a lot of things that happened in the past. Today, we know how to do all that stuff like skinning animals and all that because we were taught that.
Fox Lake is initiating a Guardians program. I also know that Tataskweyak has a Guardians program underway. I'm not sure if the other nations do, but this is something that is really starting to take off in Manitoba, and kind of having people who are those eyes and ears on the land and young people who are protecting the land and finding ways to monitor. I think that if all the nations started to have some of these people on their land and they could work together as a group, that would bring a lot of strength to these nations working together.
Whatever area we agree to protect is for cultural survival. It's where we can go to revive, our identity, revive our language, continue to teach our young people about who they are. That's really critical. So that's why I feel it's so important to protect that area and to be able to govern that area, and for our young people to know this is, where our people are from. This is what our people did there. They had a really close relationship to the land. That's how they survived on the land. That's who they were as Inuit, as Cree people.
I'd like to see that whole area preserved. I've never been to Port Nelson. I'd like to go there one day. I'd like to see more of our youth engaged in on-land learning. Like when we went, 5 kids from Churchill went to York Factory. with us. And to this day, my kids still talk about that trip and they want to go back because a lot of the kids, especially in Churchill, don't know what York Factory is about. And they need to learn stuff like that.
The heart of any input that I can give for the visioning of this project is to get a permanent presence up there in the territory, to get every member of the First Nation have a chance to be up there, and perhaps even some to live there, right? To be there on a daily basis, to connect with the different parts of the Askian environment.
I want to see all kinds of people connecting to the land, like our elders, our men, our women, all the youth, even the children. I want to see them all connecting to our land and the water, even to our ancestors, talk to our ancestors, because those places have those lived histories. Everybody's talking about we should go see the land. Everybody has their family that used to live there, talking about their grandmothers and grandfathers living there. There's spirit over there that we need to connect with.
My biggest dream, my wildest dream would be to run this protected area ourselves, the Indigenous people, without any interference from the other governments, provincial or federal. That is my dream. If we can run it ourselves our way, I think it would work because that's how it was in the past.
I want to learn more about York Factory, and I've never been there. And I'm sure that everybody had originally come from there. And all along here, the land, having all 5 nations together to talk about the areas that we are in right now. We've never really had this discussion before. And I thank you for starting this initiative, and I'm sure that it'll go a long way.
We say land is our healing. And yes, it is. We see a lot of our people that are homeless or, addictions. Our vision could be to help put up healing places for them. An outpost I had mentioned one time. I like to see a curriculum develop and then teach the children that history, and also how to live off the land with trapping and be self-sustaining, I guess, for sustenance, food sustenance.
I'm glad to be a part of this. That's what's missing here is the youth. We need the kids to hear the importance of our idea here to ally together to fight for our land.
I was listening to a group of elders that were talking years ago. They're no longer around. But they shared that, if we don't use the land, somebody else is going to come by and use it. One of the encouragements I have to people is try to use the land as much as possible, because when you're there, you're demonstrating that you're there for others to see you and to recognize that this is areas where we live and where we harvest, whether it's the plants or whether it's the animals or the fish. When I was a young man, I was not raised with the language. I had to learn the language of the land, and that's what it's called, the language of the land. And our trappers, our hunters, when they tell their stories, they're poets, in our language. And one of the ways that we maintain our language is our connection to the land.